Brian Mast. He's a U.S. Army veteran, Bronze Star and Purple Heart Medal recipient who lost both his legs while fighting in Afghanistan. Congressman Brian Mast, it's an honor to have you. Thanks for being on our show. You served and you sacrificed for the U.S. Russia has amassed over 100,000 troops with advanced weapons on the Ukrainian border. And now Biden, he says, I'm going to send 3,000 troops in addition to the 8,500 he announced last month. Are we setting ourselves up for success with this move or for failure? I mean, if you were one of those troops, how would you feel about being sent?
Look, I'm an American soldier. I'm going to go out there and do what the person with a star on their chest tells me to do. That's the commitment that you make, and you're going to be proud of it. But what's being done here is an extremely dangerous game. And let's do the math on this. Normally, when we go into a predicted situation of conflict, we like to have a 3-to-1 advantage, something to that effect. That's certainly not the case here. But what the Biden administration is doing is trying to create a situation where we look at NATO invoking Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all, by using American soldiers as what you could call Operation Human Shield, not by going about it the right way, where you get the NATO allies to grant NATO membership to the Ukraine, and then if something happens to the Ukraine, it's an attack on one is an attack on all. This is extremely dangerous to go about it in this way.
All right, so let's talk about that Article 5, right? So NATO hasn't officially asked for help, right? Nor is Ukraine actually a member of NATO. So, I mean, I guess the question is, do you think sending troops over there now and pre-positioning them is the right move?
Yeah, so it goes back to that point. You're betting that you can put a couple thousand American service members in the way of that Russian military and be able to invoke Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all. That's the bet the Biden administration is making right now. That is not the right game or gamble to make with the lives of U.S. service members. That, to me, that is not the right way to go about this whatsoever.
You know, Axios obtained leaked documents that showed how unprepared the Biden administration was in the final days leading to the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was a complete debacle that happened there. And unfortunately, service members lost their lives because of it. Now you have the same president sending our troops to help with our NATO allies. But obviously, people will do the duty they're called to, like you said, Congressman. But what is the morale of our troops right now?
Look, it's low in many cases. And I talk to a lot of my friends that are still in uniform, that tell me what they're experiencing, where instead of getting training to prepare for combat, they're getting training to prepare for wokeness. You know, the idea that you have to have this assault force where the priority is the diversity of the assault force instead of the priority being the effectiveness of the assault force. That kind of things absolutely hurts morale and it hurts effectiveness. But when you talk about those leaked documents of what we saw coming out of Afghanistan, we were asking the administration, the Department of Defense, the Department of State, hey, can you show us the plan of attack for what you intended to execute in Afghanistan with that withdrawal? Each one would point at the other one saying, well, it was State Department that had the lead or Department of Defense that had the lead. They wouldn't take ownership of it. And in the end, we know for a fact that they didn't actually have a plan that they were executing. The only thing they were trying to execute on was a political target, the political target of having the withdrawal on September 11th, not a national security strategic objective for the United States of America. They risked the lives of American soldiers. We lost American soldiers' lives for political objective. And I'm going to make one more point on this. That's the first time in my life as a service member that I ever had to sit there and say, wow, they were risking our lives, the lives of our brothers, for politics, directly for a political play. And that's a really sad thing to say.
Yeah. I want to switch gears with you because we're a couple days out from the Olympics kicking off, and you signed a letter to Secretary of State Anthony Blinken asking him to brief the American athletes over there on the human rights abuses in China. So I guess what's the goal here? Are you concerned about the athletes and what they know, or are you concerned about what they need to know or their personal safety? What's the goal here?
Well, one of the goals is this. So the administration, we've been speaking to them for months about what are you looking to do by giving China the world stage in terms of hosting the Olympics, not pushing back on this situation that's going on. We want to see our athletes compete and beat the socks off of everybody in every other country. We want them to have that opportunity, but we don't want to give China the world stage. Slave labor, if you have clothes that have a tag on them that say made in China, there's a very good chance that was made with Chinese slave labor. The idea that they stand wholly as a communist party against free nations, against the whole idea of Western civilization. Why are we giving them this platform on the world stage? And this is an effort to educate our athletes out there so that they can be aware of what it is that they're stepping into.
Well, our heart goes out to those athletes because they've been put in a really tough position. They didn't ask to go to China. They're just representing the U.S. So I hope they do actually get that briefing. Congressman Brian Mast, thank you for your service to this country, and thanks for being with us this evening.
All the best.